Hello everyone, my name is Jamie and I'm a first year emergency medicine resident. Welcome back to the channel and Happy New Year. I hope you guys had a great winter break. This year I want to add a new series to my channel where I answer some of the harder questions from you guys that don't usually make it into the regular Q&A session because it needs a more in-depth answer. So let's jump right into it. Today's question comes from Kimia and she's worried about taking out loans to fund her medical school education. Hi Jamie, thank you for your YouTube videos. Now, as an incoming medical student, I'm expecting to take out loans and I can't believe how high the interest rate is. I'm afraid I won't be able to go into general medicine specialty because of the high investment going into medical school. Can you offer any advice? Is it possible to pay off your loans by living really frugally for a few years? What about starting a family? Thanks for the question, Kimia. Let me address two things really quick. First, you mentioned that you won't be able to go into general medicine specialty because of the high investment of medical school. I'm assuming you're worried that you won't be able to pay off your loans with specialties in primary care like family medicine, pediatrics, internal medicine, since they have lower salaries compared to other specialties. And number two, you mentioned the video I made about the cost of medical school, and I'll link it up here for those of you who haven't watched it already. But basically, in summary, the total average cost of attending a public medical school, including living expenses, is $224,000 and $312,000 for a private one. That's a lot of money, and it's really daunting to make that kind of investment, especially when you're in your early 20s. And it's understandable why you would second guess if you're making the right decision. Sometimes it doesn't pay off.
Well, got myself in quite a mess right now, and I'm not really sure where to start to get out.
Okay.
To start with, I have currently about $430,000 in student loans.
Good Lord.
Yes, I was in medical school. I had failed 2 sets of boards after 3 years, and then was recently dismissed. Right now, I have a debt, but no degree that I was planning to use to actually be able to pay that back.
It's scary because things don't always work out. So I can totally understand why you're worried. I'm sure people always say that you shouldn't become a doctor for the money, but I think there's still a lot of misconception, and you guys can hear about this in my cost of medical school video, but basically there's still a lot of missed opportunity when it comes to going to medical school. Think about your average friend graduating college and getting a job for, let's say, a salary of $60,000. If they go straight through, that's $240,000 for the next 4 years. And that's $240,000 that you're not making while you're in medical school. And on the other hand, you might actually be in debt for $240,000 or more for the medical school cost that I talked about in the video. You can't necessarily go into medicine thinking everything is going to work out and that you never have to worry about money, because obviously there's a huge upfront cost of going to medical school and becoming a doctor. And it may take years and years and years to pay off that loan. So when it comes to repayment, all federal loans have an option for income-based repayment. And this allows medical residents to cap their student loan payments at about 10 to 15% of your monthly income. So you shouldn't feel that you can't practice the specialty of your choice because of the salary reason. There's also a public service loan forgiveness program, which means that if you work at a nonprofit hospital for 10 years, your loans will be forgiven after that. Now, there's of course a caveat to this. Public service loan forgiveness program is relatively new in the world of medicine. So I believe it was started in 2007. So the first group of people who became eligible for loan forgiveness was in 2017. So in order to do something like public service loan forgiveness program, you need to be filling out a paperwork every year, documenting and having your employers or the hospital fill out a paperwork for you as well. So it's something that you really need to stay on top of for it to actually happen. It also means that you have to work at a public hospital or a certain institution even after residency, and I think depending on what your residency is, I think there will definitely be a lure to going into private practice and possibly making more money that way. So just know that not everyone sticks with a public hospital for 10 full years. That said, you should look to minimize the loans that you need to take way before you start paying off your loans. Some of the ways that you can minimize your loans are by considering which medical schools to attend. I think the biggest cost that you'll incur is tuition, and some med schools are cheaper than others while providing similar quality of education. You can further minimize your loans by lowering your cost of living. The average cost of living for a medical student is about $25,000 a year, and this includes rent and food and healthcare, transportation costs, books and fees for board exams, which were very expensive. And while the books and the cost of the board exam fees are fixed, you can lower the cost of living by living in a cheaper apartment or getting roommates, learning how to cook instead of eating out, and taking public transportation. Now, going back to your question about paying off loans while living frugally for a few years. Realistically speaking, it won't be possible to pay off all your loans in resident salary, and that's because average resident makes about $50,000 to $60,000 a year. But once you become an attending physician, your salary jumps to $150,000 to $300,000 a year. So if you maintain the same work resident lifestyle, you can aggressively pay down your loans within a few years. And that's definitely what I would recommend doing. As far as starting a family goes, I can't say I have any personal experience, but from what I've seen with my co-residents and friends, the only thing consistent is that there's no one right way to do things. I have co-residents who are married to partners not in medicine and have their own source of income. And I also know of couples where both are in residency and still making it work with babies in the picture. I even know residents who's the only breadwinner of the family and they still make it work. Everyone has varying degrees of help from family, from 0 to more, and people do make it work. Residency and medical school that most of us carry is no joke, but like most things in life, it's not forever. Most of us chose this job because we love helping our patients and we can't imagine doing anything else, even with a crazy schedule and even with a daunting mountain of loans. So I hope that answers your question, Kimia. Thank you again for asking the question. If you guys have any questions you'd like me to answer, feel free to email me or DM me on Instagram at TheStriveToFit. Before I go, I would like to thank Home Chef for sponsoring today's video. Home Chef is a meal kit delivery service, and the way it works is they'll send you a cooler box with all the ingredients and recipes each week right to your door. They'll send you the exact proportions so nothing is wasted from unused ingredients. So this is pretty convenient if you're really busy and don't have time to go to the grocery store. Meals come to about $10 per serving, and each week there's 18 different recipes to choose from. For this week, I'm making the Mongolian fried portobellos and peppers. If you guys are interested in trying out Home Chef, you can click the link in the description box and save $30 off your first order. So this is a final product and it came out really good. Thanks again for tuning in. If you haven't already, you can follow me on social media at TheStriveToFit on Instagram and Twitter. And you can also visit TheStriveToFit.com for some merchandise. If you'd like to take on more videos, please click here. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.